You're watching WGAL 8. Now, coverage you can count on continues from the Susquehanna Valley's most watched news team. This is News 8 at 5 in HD.
Tonight at 5, a convicted murderer out on parole has been charged with a string of robberies on the West Shore. How police caught up with him.
What some York residents say they plan to do after a man's found shot to death in an SUV.
And details of a police chase and officer-involved shooting in Harrisburg.
But our top story tonight, a possible deal to avert a default on the nation's debt. Good evening, I'm Ron Martin.
And I'm Kim Lemon. Leaders in the U.S. Senate hammered out the last-minute deal that would raise the debt ceiling and end the government shutdown. And both chambers could vote tonight before the midnight deadline. NBC's Steve Handelsman is covering this story for us tonight on Capitol Hill. Steve?
Thanks. Good evening from Capitol Hill, where the Senate is set to vote on this deal in about an hour, followed by the House. Speaker John Boehner saying we fought the good fight, but we lost. Boehner and Senate Minority Leader Mitch McConnell and most of their Republicans are backing down. Crisis apparently averted. On the last day, Senate Republicans cut a deal with Democrats. And Speaker John Boehner is called to vote in the House, even though most Republicans there might vote no. The plan would reopen government through January 15th with back pay for furloughed federal workers and raise the debt ceiling through February 7th, preventing America's first default.
Political adversaries set aside their differences and disagreements to prevent that disaster.
Senate Republicans still vowed to roll back Obamacare.
But for today, the relief we hope for is to reopen the government, avoid default.
Tea Party Senator Ted Cruz objected.
The deal that has been cut provides no relief to the millions of Americans who are hurting because of Obamacare.
But Cruz said he will not filibuster to block the vote. Tea Party House Republicans conceded defeat this time.
You know, anytime you stand up for the American people, it's worth it.
Ohio Republican Jim Jordan. I asked him if the Tea Party will threaten default over Obamacare in February, when today's debt ceiling deal runs out. Will you do this fight again?
I mean, I think that's unlikely, but what I do think we are going to do is continue to make those arguments.
Democrats publicly did not gloat.
There are no winners here.
And as the Senate got set to formalize the deal, the House later tonight, both sides looked ahead to the next round. It'll be another battle over the budget, taxes and spending, entitlements, and Obamacare in talks mandated by this short-term agreement. Live from the Capitol, I'm Steve Handelsman reporting. Now back to you.
All right, thank you, Steve.
Our coverage of the talks continues throughout the evenings. Coming up in about 10 minutes, News 8 takes a closer look at what happens if lawmakers fail to reach an agreement by midnight. And we explain what the debt ceiling is and how it affects you. Then
tonight at 5:30, 8 on Your Side government reporter Pete Muntean is reaching out to your lawmakers to find out how they plan to vote.
And tonight at 6, News 8 will again be live from Washington with the very latest on the deal.
Now on to Harrisburg, where police fired a shot while trying to catch a wanted felon this afternoon. It happened in the Uptown neighborhood at Schuylkill and Susquehanna Streets. And that's where News 8's Harrisburg reporter Portia Johnson joins us live tonight. Hi, Portia.
Hi, Kim. Well, police found the felon in this neighborhood, but it was challenging trying to arrest him. Police say they tried to tase him and even fired a shot, but the suspect managed to get away, but not for long.
Police were called out to Susquehanna and Schuylkill Streets for a report of a suspicious vehicle, a dark-colored Jeep Cherokee. Police say after running the vehicle information, they discovered the man inside was Matthew Millett, a felon wanted out of Florida.
He resisted the arrest. I believe an officer may have attempted to tase him at first. That was unsuccessful.
Captain Derek Moody says a police officer fired one gunshot at the suspect as he sped off. Mia Davison was nearby.
I heard it. I was in my house with the door closed, so it was loud enough, and I'm 2 blocks down.
Even though Millett got away from police, he didn't get far. This video taken by a contractor shows police arresting Millett in a neighborhood off of 82nd Street in Swatara Township.
Now, coming up at 6 o'clock, you'll hear from a man who was there in Swatara Township when police arrested the suspect, Matthew Millett. Now, as of yet, police have not told us what Mr. Millett was wanted for, and they have not told us what Millett will be charged for now. I'm going to send it back over to you.
All right, live in Harrisburg tonight. Thank you, Portia.
Oh, tonight, an alleged serial robber on the West Shore is in prison. It turns out the suspect is a convicted murderer who was on parole. News 8's Matt Barquero is live in Upper Allen Township at the scene of the latest holdup. Good evening, Matt.
Good evening, Ron. Police had expected this robber to strike again. After all, they say he already hit 4 stores in the previous 5 nights. So an Upper Allen officer last night was in the area watching the Subway store here on the Gettysburg Pike. He saw someone go in and then out and get into a car, and something didn't seem right. So the officer took note of that license plate as the car drove away, and moments later the 911 call came in that the Subway was just robbed. What happened next was a clinic in diligent police work. As officers gathered information from the Subway, others started tracking the license plate.
It's the proverbial puzzle that all the pieces just start lining up after a while.
After several searches, police narrowed in on a suspect, James Borwigan. It's a name they knew. The suspect, who was arrested at his apartment before the sun came up Wednesday, had been out on parole for murder. He was convicted of killing his 13-year-old neighbor when he was just a teenager himself. He was charged as an adult and served his time. But Borwigan, now 30, is headed back to prison after police say he was the man who terrorized 5 Mechanicsburg area stores in the last 6 days, aiming a gun at employees, taking their money, and covering his face each time with a mask. According to court records, police found in Borwigan's bedroom the gun and clothes that matched the description used in all 5 of the robberies. Police had a feeling he would continue holding up stores until he was caught, which he was, thanks to that officer who was in the right place at the right time.
In this case, one of many cases where the officer was accurate in his hunch, and it actually played out to the benefit of everybody.
And also through some court documents that were released today, we got some information that police don't typically release about robberies. We know that this suspected robber took about $1,500 of total from all of these robberies. But to put that into perspective, his bail was set at $1.2 million. Ron?
And you were right. That was some good police work. Thanks, Matt.
York police are searching for clues after a shooting late last night left a young man dead. News 8's Meredith Jorgensen is live where the victim was found. Hi, Meredith.
Hi, Kim. A memorial to the young victim grows tonight on the sidewalk here. We're on the corner of Jefferson Avenue and Thomas Street, where police found Jordan Breland dead. Now, some neighbors say this shooting is the last straw as police continue to look for the killer. Residents are looking for a new place to live.
And it was just quiet. All of a sudden, you just hear guns going off. Nobody was arguing, nobody was fussing, none of that.
But the quiet quickly turned to gunshots around 10:30 Tuesday night, and when it was over, a 21-year-old was dead.
I didn't realize anybody got shot at first. I just thought it was a car, because normally it's just a car, somebody shooting up a car.
The victim, Jordan Breland, was in a car. When police arrived, they pulled him out of the passenger side of the SUV and performed CPR, but officers couldn't revive him.
I don't know what could cause somebody to kill somebody.
Well, now police are looking into that exact question, why someone would kill Jordan Breland, and more importantly, who. And tonight, investigators are offering very few clues. That's the latest here live in York. Back to you.
Very good. All right. Thank you, Meredith.
In Lancaster County, a man died this afternoon in a farming accident in Colerain Township. According to County Dispatch, a man fell into a manure pit at a farm on the 300 block of Sproul Road. The man's name has not been released. Here's an update on the shooting outside a teen birthday party in Harrisburg over the weekend. Harrisburg police have arrested a juvenile and an adult in connection with the shooting. The juvenile has been charged as an adult. Police say a fight broke out inside the party, and then a few minutes later, shots were fired outside. Several people were hurt. Also in Dauphin County, state police have ruled that the deaths of 2 people in an apartment complex yesterday is a murder-suicide. State police say 22-year-old Savannah Silva shot 21-year-old Luis Herrera Morales in the head before turning the gun on herself. Their bodies were found inside an apartment at the Cottage Inn in East Hanover Township near Grantville. A 5-month-old girl was found unharmed.
It's a profound thing to walk into a room, see 2 dead people and a baby sitting there. So that about says it all, right? So no matter what the outcome is here, it's a tragedy.
The child was the daughter of Savannah. She was placed in the custody of Children and Youth Services.
On to Learning Matters tonight. Some York County and city leaders are rallying behind the New Hope Charter School to try to save it from being closed. They just held a news conference announcing a big decision about the school's future. News 8's Barbara Barr was there. She joins us live outside the school tonight. Hi, Barbara.
Hi, Kim. School leaders just a short time ago announced that they will appeal to the Commonwealth Court the decision to close it down, and that could force more than 800 students to find new schools next year. And in a letter to the governor, Mayor Kim Bracey of York and also a county commissioner are urging him and the Department of Education to reconsider.
Students and their families should not be ripped from a safe and stable school environment mid-year.
With students standing behind him, New Hope Academy Principal Don Trost announced the school will appeal a decision to shut it down in mid-January. A Department of Education appeals board backed the York City School District's decision to revoke the charter school's license due to poor academic performance, admissions, and financial statement violations.
We're talking about small, minor, legal, technical issues.
Issues the school district and the state thought were big enough to take the rare step of closing the charter school, something that has its students upset.
When I say New Hope Academy is my school, it's my school. I ain't gonna let nobody take that from me.
And New Hope claims a 93% graduation rate now. It says it's taken some time to get it up to that point because it got students who were actually behind a grade or two when they first came here, and it's taken some patience, and they say that they need to make that argument more effectively when they do appeal it before the court. We're live in York. We'll have more on this coming up at 6. Kim and Ron.
All right, thank you, Barbara. And now for our first forecast at 5.
Here's News 8's Doug Allen on a somewhat cool and overcast day.
Yeah, kind of dreary out there. It's going to stay that way too, particularly this evening and tonight. But not any significant precipitation here in the Susquehanna Valley. As advertised, most of the showers headed our way today are drying up, and you can see that very thing taking place as just a couple little sprinkles make their way across Mifflin County. The rest of the valley primarily just gray and, as I said, a bit dreary. Here's a satellite view. You see these clouds developing and just hanging around all day today. Temperatures right now still quite mild, mid-60s, and feeling a little bit damp out there too. Temperatures won't drop that quickly this evening or even that far tonight, down to about 55. There might be a stray shower here or there overnight tonight. Mostly cloudy tomorrow, 70. As we get to this hour tomorrow, we'll start to see some scattered showers. Then tomorrow evening, a better chance at a period of rain, Kim. We'll take a closer look at that coming up in our complete forecast.
All right, thank you, Doug. Still to come on News 8, the permanent memorial to honor a Susquehanna Valley airman killed in action. Then tonight at 5:30, how you can sign your child up for free or low-cost health insurance tonight. And then tonight at 6, the message college students have for state lawmakers.